Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. My name is Derek DeBurger.
Is it Derek DeBurger?
My name is Sam Roth. With me, that freak Derek DeBurger.
How we doing, guys? I'm Jewish.
Okay. That's like a 3 or 4 month ago joke.
Hey, we can relive it.
Okay. Anyway, look, we talk about conference championship week. We preview it a little bit. We do our pick'ems at the end of the episode. We talk about...
He won't shut up about Kenny Payne getting fired.
Yeah, we finally talk about Kenny Payne getting fired, and we go into our delusional Louisville fan, who can we get? We talked about the LSU South Carolina debacle. We talked about...
Brawl.
Kerfuffle. We talked about Kansas and Hunter Dickenson getting hurt. We talked about Tennessee and Kentucky, which of them are better long term.
Yeah. Well, at least till the end of April. Mid-April.
You're right, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
Long term is not even a full 30 days at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's about it. So...
Yeah.
So jump on into it. Please don't click away. I hope this episode didn't suck.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you in there. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. My name's Derek DeBurger. Sam Roth.
How are we doing, guys?
It's here. Championship week is here. It's among us. It's upon
I
us.
didn't know that's what they called it. It makes sense, though.
Yeah, championship week. It's a great time. It is the perfect appetizer before March Madness. It is.
Mm-hmm.
They're the perfect platter of jalapeno poppers.
Oh, I could go for some
Right
jalapeno
before,
poppers.
before. I can't eat jalapeno poppers anymore without a Lactaid because I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh, they are delicious when made right, when they're high quality jalapeno poppers.
Absolutely.
But it's here. It's among us. It's upon us finally. That week started last week for women's basketball, and I hope everyone had a great International Women's Day.
Yes, absolutely.
How was your International Women's Day?
I worked. I served women that day. So
That's
if
wonderful.
If anything, I did my part.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So that's the big news. That's the big news.
Mm-hmm.
We because it was the last game of basketball. Great games. Kentucky beat Tennessee.
That was a big
Shocking.
game. Yeah.
Kentucky, I don't know what's up with them, man. They ever since they looked like they were the worst team in the country. Just about every now and then they'll just play defense.
Yeah, because the offense isn't an issue.
Yeah,
I
not
truly-
in the slightest.
No, I truly believe Kentucky right now at this moment has the best offense in the nation. And I don't even think that it's close.
I mean, points per possession wise, it's Alabama.
No. I mean, like, if you...
Yeah, statistically, yes.
No, because what I'm referring to is, like, right now in this current moment, I'm honestly not taking the full workload of Kentucky's whole season. Like, statistically speaking, yes, if you're looking at the whole year, it's Alabama.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, right now, currently, it's Kentucky.
I mean, when they actually decide to play defense, they're very good.
They can beat anybody if they play defense.
And that's the thing. Offense is harder than defense. Offense is more skill-oriented. Defense is more effort-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can play good offense, you can play good defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. They just have to try. Also, there's an element of, like, knowing where you're supposed to be, like, positioning on the court. That can, come later for younger guys, which they have a lot of young guys on their team. But still.
I forget which game it was where they tried zone for one possession, but Cal was just like, yeah, I told him, let's do zone. And they're like, they did zone for that one possession. And they're like, he's like, I know no one knows what to do for the zone because we don't even know what we're doing for the zone. So it's like, how are you supposed to coach something that we don't even know what we're doing?
Yeah. Okay. I'll say this. I'm fully aware that, I'm wearing a Louisville shirt right now. I'm not trying to be, rival fan right now, but Cal is a guy he's not known for being a detail-oriented coach. He's just not. Like, prior to them hitting that shot against LSU, before ultimately losing, they were like 1 of 26 in their last 26 shots to like tie or go ahead late in the game. Because Cal doesn't practice those. He doesn't ever practice like situational basketball. And so if you only ever think you're going to run man-to-man, why would you practice zone? I know they've never practiced zone. So it makes sense that they would not know what to do with the zone. I mean, if I'm John Calipari, ever since the new calendar year, practice is nothing but defense. And I don't think he's done that, and I don't know why you wouldn't.
I don't know what's going on inside of a Kentucky practice facility, but I don't know what to say to that take, honestly.
I
mean, it's just okay. Like,
yeah, no, I just like.
I honestly don't know, because like, I think he's a good coach. He's had results. He's able to recruit talent, and we'll see where they can go this year. Honestly, they could honestly make a run if they're getting hot at the right time. The stretch they went on, they beat 4-strength ranked opponents or something like that. They beat Tennessee, South Carolina. They beat Alabama. They just beat Auburn too, I think.
Did they beat South Carolina?
Yeah, I think they beat South Carolina. I think their last 4 games they won out, and they were all ranked opponents. Let me double check it, but I'm pretty sure.
I feel like that feels wrong to me. Something about that feels wrong.
They beat Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, and no, not South Carolina. My apologies. South Carolina. I'm thinking of Tennessee's schedule because Tennessee had a huge slate.
Yeah, they beat Tennessee, Vandy, Arkansas,
Mississippi State, Alabama, and then last loss was LSU. But then they beat Auburn. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean,
they're getting hot at the right time to get hot, basically.
Yeah, but it all hinges on going to play defense.
It was the Tennessee one I was thinking of, because Tennessee had Kentucky, South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn. I was getting the schedules confused there. Apologies. Speaking of which, Dalton Connect is
fantastic.
He's offensively fantastic. A liability on defense.
That they do a lot of offense defense with him. Yeah, a lot.
He is.
I mean, if you've seen both in games that they've won and games that they've lost, they will do offense defense with them. And that is the problem with him, is that he'll
give you 30, but he'll give up 25.
He'll give you 40.
He can, yeah.
He gave him 40 against Kentucky.
Did he give 40?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absurdly good. He's absurdly good on offense.
I'll be damned, he did.
Yeah, and so, like, he's just so skilled offensively. And the problem is, like, everybody else is good on defense for Tennessee, so it's not like he's the guy that you're targeting whenever he's on the court. Like, you're going right at him. It's not like, oh, if we get this matchup, we'll go at him. No, if you're Kentucky, you've got, like, if you're Kentucky and you can reasonably put 4 competent ball handlers on the court, go at them every single time.
Man.
Every single time, go at them.
I still don't understand why Kentucky doesn't start Reed Shepherd or Rob Dillingham.
I start one of them. Don't start both.
Why not?
Get that boost of energy off the bench.
No, because I truly believe that there's something to be said about why DJ Wagner starts over both of them, if not one of them. And the reason that I'm thinking is because it's genuinely, it's like when Cal recruited DJ to come to Kentucky, he said, you will start every game. That's the only thing I could think of for why.
Look, I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm very big into, that top guy off the bench should be a real energy guy, competent player. Manu came off the bench forever.
No, he didn't. Not forever. He was in the starting lineup for a while, and then he came off the bench once Kawhi got there.
Not once. He came off the bench before Kawhi got there.
Way before, but he was in that starting lineup for a lot of those runs.
No, I know. I'm saying when I meant forever hyperbolically. I didn't mean it literally speaking. I meant he was in the...
For like 2 years, he was a 6-man.
No.
Yeah.
You are dead wrong about that.
No,
you are
I'm not.
dead wrong about that. Look, I'm not going to get into this argument. I'm just saying I like having... It's more important who finishes the game than who starts the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The finishing lineup
And
is
so-
what matters most. I truly believe that.
If you can take one of your 5 best players and have them come off the bench, if it doesn't bother them, do it.
But
It doesn't work for every team, but it can.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't want the 5 best guys on the court for the most amount possible. And so you start off the game with them, and then you make the changes based off of what the best 5 is giving you. Why not read that first as a coach and then make the change? Why go, I know I'm going to bring in my 2 other better players than a Duthero and Trey Mitchell or, like, I don't know, like, or DJ Wagner, you know, like, why not make those changes off the bat in the starting lineup, you know?
I just think if you got the guys, have them come off the bench. If they're fine with it, it doesn't affect your team too much. Have them come off the bench, and I think it's a great coaching decision. I think more players should be open to it, and more coaches should be open to it. Having one of their better players come off the bench. That's how I feel. It doesn't. It's not like you can't do that in every situation. You know, like you can't have one of your top 3 guys come off the bench in every single situation for every team in the country.
I think Kentucky's doing that right now.
I know they are, but I'm saying like it works for Kentucky. You know, have Dillingham come off the bench. I think he's great off the bench.
I suppose.
That's how I feel about it. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Houston, Kansas.
Okay.
Because not only did Houston
Roll them.
by 30, beat
Yeah.
them by 30.
It was get back for when they lost by 20 at Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah, Hunter Dickinson dislocated his shoulder in that game.
Mm-hmm. So once a thin Kansas team became thinner.
Yeah, they basically had 6 guys before.
Yeah.
Now they got like 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. You can go on a miracle run with 6 players in your rotation, assuming no one gets hurt,
Right.
and like you don't get in serious foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They just got hurt. You can't do that with 5.
No.
You can't have 5 guys play 40 minutes. It's not feasible. And so,
Not unless you're Tom Thibodeau.
well, a lot of NBA references today. I don't.
Hey, it's just where we're at right now.
All right. I'm not super caught up with the Knicks roster, so I don't.
Oh, no. He ruined Derrick Rose's career when he was with the Bulls, too.
Oh, the Bulls. All right.
Well, I mean, like, he's also with the Knicks now, but I mean, like, Tibbs loves to run those minutes up and get guys injured.
He's a good coach, man. I don't know what to say.
To each their own.
But no, Kansas. I don't think Kansas has a chance to do anything unless.
I mean, what's their
unless
ceiling?
Hunter Dickinson is fully healthy.
What do you think their ceiling is? I think their ceiling
Sweet
is,
16, Elite 8.
I think their ceiling is Sweet 16 with Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah, that's what I think. With Hunter Dickinson, it's a Sweet 16 or Elite 8. I mean, literally, realistically speaking,
Right.
It's a championship. Like everyone's ceiling is a championship. But
No.
I'm saying, like, from a literal standpoint,
Right.
like they could go on a run.
You never know. It's 3 games you could win, 4 games you can win to get there to like a Final Four.
Yeah, but I think realistically it's Sweet 16 or Elite 8 with Dickinson healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Without him, they'd be lucky to get to a Sweet 16.
A lot of Kansas fans aren't really happy with his play though. So I mean, like, are they really missing a lot with him? I know they
Yes,
are.
They 100% are.
I don't know necessarily. I mean, I understand he fills a void because no one else is there to fill it. But then at the same time, it's like his play has not been tremendous this year by any stretch of the imagination. From the expectations of being the number 1 transfer to what he is.
He's still very good. He is very good.
I don't know. Mine and yours definitions of very good might be different.
I mean, my definition is he's incredibly talented and adds to the team.
Well, by that definition, I'll agree. But I don't think he's like... He doesn't make the difference in March for me.
You can't...
Like, I would say he's not even the best player on Kansas's team.
No, I think McCullough probably is.
Yeah, I would agree.
It'll be interesting to see if this makes DeJuan Harris more of a scoring threat, because I think that's the key for Kansas is whether he looks to get his or not.
Right.
I think he'll probably look to be a scoring threat without Dickenson in the lineup. If Dickinson's able to return by like the tournament or maybe the round of 32 if they can get there, does he still look to score? Because I think that's what helps Kansas significantly. But no, I think without him they're done. I think it's plain and simple. That's it.
Yeah.
They're done without him. We've also got so conference championship week is this week, championship week. Some of it started last week, like the Missouri Valley.
Some teams have already punched their ticket.
Morehead State was the first one to punch their ticket.
Sure has. Drake has joined them.
Over in Morehead, Kentucky.
Steffens has punched their ticket.
Stetson
has punched their ticket. Yeah. Longwood has punched their ticket.
Longwood, yes.
A good upset over UNC Asheville as well as the 1 seed High Point in their conference. There's some others that are playing out as well. I think there's like 4 or 5 teams that punched their ticket. I
think it's 4, yeah.
Can't think of all of them off the top of my head. The consensus is upset.
Drake.
Yes.
Yes.
Drake has punched their ticket from the Missouri Valley over favorited Indiana State because a lot of people want to see Avila, I forget his first name. Robbie Avila play in the tournament. A lot of people are pushing now for the Indiana State to get an at-large bid. I was wondering, do you think they're good enough to receive an at-large bid?
I think, yeah. I know they don't have a lot of quad 1 wins. I think they have 1.
I would be surprised if they get into the tournament because they were already pushing that 11 line with or without a bid.
They were probably going to be a 12 without it.
So, I mean, I don't know if they're getting in. That was definitely if you are a bubble team, I don't know, you might be happy that Drake won, or would you have been happy?
I think if you're a bubble team, you'd rather Indiana State win.
Because then Drake is no longer in the conversation.
Yes, because Drake's not in the conversation if they lose.
But Indiana State, yeah. I guess so. Because there's bid stealers and bid givers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. The other unfortunate one is High Point, who I forget which conference. They lost to Longwood in overtime.
Yeah, I have no clue what that conference is.
It is the Big South.
Big South.
Yeah, they lost in the semifinals of the Big South. Very good team in my opinion. I mean, they're 25-8. I was looking at them to be one of my Cinderellas, possibly, depending on the matchup that they get, though. But now they're no longer in, and now because of the NIT rules, they may not even get into the NIT because NIT has automatic bids for the Power Fives as well as it cycles on down.
So stupid.
So there's a team that could have made a move in March now may not be participating in March.
It's so ridiculous. I hate the NIT's new rules. It's so dumb. But I hope they get into the NIT.
Right.
You know the NIT used to be bigger than the NCAA tournament?
Yep.
Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah, way back in like the 50s, 40s and 50s. Do you know what took it down? You know the reason why the NCAA tournament became
Enlighten me.
The NIT was a little bit too, I'll say, prone to mafia intervention.
Influence, huh?
Yeah, influence. That's probably a good word. And
influence.
The refs ended up fixing a lot of games in the NIT.
Oh.
And then that made it lose all credibility, and then that's what made the NCAA tournament.
That's how you lose. That's how you lose sport if you lose the credibility.
Around the 50s or 60s is when the NCAA became the biggest or the bigger of the two.
Yeah, and
it's funny because in hindsight, people have gone back and just like tried to completely wash away the NIT because like teams that won NCAA championships, like Oregon won the first one. That wasn't the big one to win back then. You know, like the teams that have won them in the 40s, you wanted to win the NIT. You could actually compete in both back then.
Really?
Yeah. There was a community college from New York that won both one year.
Oh.
But no, the one you wanted to win, like if you could only win one, you wanted to win the NIT. But they've gone back and made it to where like they don't even count those as like actual national championships.
Wow.
But that was just a little bit of a tangent that I went on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fixing games, the Temple basketball is currently under investigation by the Gaming Commission, more or less.
And Loyola, Maryland.
They're the second one that has been alerted, more or less. I don't know if they're necessarily under investigation.
Okay. Yeah. So you're more into the know of this story than I am.
But basically, Temple basketball. If you look at, there were some highlights that were shown. The main game that was a standout was Temple versus UAB. Horrible. Well, not horrible game. I mean, Temple lost 100-72 to UAB. Gave up 100 points basically. I'm interested to see what the bets were and everything, because we've already seen this in pro sports. We've already seen it in the NFL where guys have already been known to bet on themselves, bet for themselves or against themselves. But Temple has been, quote, abysmal this year. They are 12-19. For the UBA game that got alerted, the defense was very poor. I don't want to call out any names just yet, but there are some that are definitely on the radar because of how they play and how they shot. And it's very consistent for, like, I'll just say this. Why are you shooting 11 threes a game and only making 3? It doesn't seem very proactive and, Now, I can understand that's just one game, but then if you start looking at the box scores and see it consistently where you're just checking up shots.
Yeah, I definitely would wait
for the full investigation to be completed.
Yeah.
But
because it's easy to be like, you're fixing games to a player that just sucks.
Right.
And, that feels mean.
Right.
You're fixing games.
No, but
you're not. There's no way you're that bad.
No, but
He's got just a single tear running down his cheek.
I don't know. There's. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of the story, more or less, and what the investigation comes. But apparently, there was massive amounts of money being bet on Temple this year for a 12-19 team.
Yeah,
I just
that
don't
right
see
there.
it.
That's a red flag.
1,000%.
Temple. Who's betting on Temple basketball?
Someone who's winning a lot of money, apparently.
Yeah. Well.
So that's that news. There's really just not too much news going on right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's all sports.
It all really just comes
the
out.
games.
Right. The only other news that's really came out is North Carolina's Governor Roy Cooper rescinds the 2021 executive order that's setting NIL guidelines in the state. Basically, all this allows for is it allows NIL collectives to now be a part of the recruiting process. Before they weren't allowed.
Yeah, because the NCAA is so stupid.
Well,
a lot of state legislators and governors thought that they were being smart, which I think they were being smart.
They were trying to be proactive,
setting legislation for what NIL allowed, because it was inevitable that it was going to be allowed.
Right.
Like it was working its way up to the Supreme Court. And then the NCAA was like, screw it, everything's legal. And so states that ended up not making legislation about it, they were actually better off than most of the states that did. Like there are very, very few exceptions of states that made that actually set laws into place, like Kentucky. Kentucky's like one of the few states that made NIL laws where it's actually more beneficial than like rather than the NCAA just being like, everyone can do it. We don't care anymore. We've never cared.
Yeah, basically, Kentucky was one of the few states that made proactive laws to help the players in the aspects of like you have to honor contracts. There's like laws to where like you get in trouble if you don't.
And those details are all confidential.
Right.
It's only between universities, athletes, and people paying the NIL.
Right.
So.
And the other interesting thing about NIL right now is that there are many reports coming out now that there's a lot of donor fatigue coming out from, which is expected. It's like the new shiny thing that everybody wanted. So they're paying, I'll pay $5 million for this player, $4 million. And plus we also believe that a lot of these numbers were inflated too at the time as well. But then also it's now becoming to a point to where if you think about the model of NIL, it just doesn't make sense. Why are fans paying players to come here, or donors, if you will, more or less fans of programs, to pay where the school is quote unquote not allowed to be paying?
Yeah.
It's just going to eventually end up with revenue sharing is what it's eventually going to end up to.
It's goofy. Well,
So
you want to talk about the LSU
we have to.
South Carolina
We have
game?
to talk about the women's games.
That was great.
Well, first let's start off with the Tennessee game.
Yes, that was, yeah.
Because
you were right about that.
Because the Tennessee game, Tennessee played them close. Tennessee played
them great.
Played them down to the very last second.
Which I will give Tennessee full credit. I was not a big believer in Tennessee, like at all. Like typically, in recent years, Tennessee is a team where I want to see them on the women's side. That is, I want to see them on my bracket so bad, so bad, because
there's a legacy
they're going to be they're a top 3 program in women's basketball, and so
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
Yeah, and so they're going to get overseeded, as they currently are, and so like if they're the 4 seed in your bracket, like I'm like begging to play Tennessee because they're not like a real 4 seed right now.
Well, the other unfortunate thing about the women's bracket and just this side of it financially is it's very rare to see those upsets because for the first 2 rounds, 1 through 4 on all sides of the bracket are home games.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not only is it harder to go in and win a game on the road or in a neutral site, but then to do it where opposing fans, and then you're going into an atmosphere you're probably not accustomed to, because usually those top 16 teams that get those brackets have a good fan base. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, most of the time.
So basically you have to go into a hostile environment.
Even if they don't have a great fan base, it's a playoff game, you know? So like
a lot's on the line.
Yeah. You're going to get a bigger draw for those games.
And it looks like a neutral site, and there's certain rules within it. Yeah. But it is most definitely not. As someone who has been thankful to have a good women's program here in Louisville and being able to go to those NCAA tournament games, it is 1,000% a small section of, like, you might have, like, the biggest supporters there are the band for the other team. Like, it is... I understand why they do it. At the same time, it's also like it's very hard to be a 13 seed or lower and try to win games.
Yeah.
And even if you're a 12 and you make a 5 upset, you got the 4 and you have to play them again at that home. So.
Yeah, it's all because of money. Like they can't get these venues to host like multiple games like the men can currently.
It's also like the eye draw too. Like, I don't want to be this person, but it's also like UConn playing
at Stores.
Right.
Like that's going to
UConn playing Stony Brook is not going to get headlines. UConn playing Iowa is obviously going to draw a headline. Where that UConn's going to be a 3 seed, Iowa could be a 2 seed, that could be a Sweet 16 matchup.
Yeah.
You know? Stuff like that.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
which is the unfortunate part.
Give it time.
Whereas
eventually the women's bracket will catch up to the men's.
I don't think it'll ever catch up. I think it'll just make progress.
I think it'll get better, yeah.
Right.
But
it's also upsets don't happen as much because of that.
In part, it's getting better, and it'll continue to get better.
Right.
But back to South Carolina.
Apologies.
No, it's tangent. Okay. We both did. The
Tennessee
game was
game
up against South Carolina. I think they were up 2 points, right?
It was like it was 2 points. It was like
and South Carolina was inbounding the ball at half court, I think.
Which is a rule that needs to be in the men's game as well.
Yeah, you can advance the ball
right
off a timeout. Anyway, a 2-point game. Tennessee's playing tough defense. The only thing South Carolina can really do, and there's only like a second left on the clock.
There's like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
more or less.
1 or 2 seconds left on the clock. The only thing they can end up doing is inbounding the ball to Camila Cardoso, outside at the 3-point arc. And it's like,
So did you?
Tennessee's like, sure, we'll give you that. You've never hit a 3 in your entire career. Like,
So
we'll
did you-
let you shoot.
So there's actually a story to that. So the original play that Don Staley got on after the game and commented on that play basically, and what she said is that they wanted Cardosa just inside the key basically, to be able to receive the ball and either do a dribble handoff or a pass to the corner to their 3-point shooter. I forget her name. Basically, once they saw Tennessee's big back up to the basket, basically be underneath the paint to protect any tips more or less, to prevent a tie game. Dawn Staley said that she told Cardosa, hey, back up, and gave her the green light. And she said, and I quote, shoot that blankety blank, is what she said.
All right.
So
I don't know what those blanks are.
We can infer, I think.
All right.
And so right before the inbound, Cardosa gets the green light to shoot the ball. And she's got all the space in the world, and then obviously makes her first career 3-pointer.
Yeah. Banks it into just pure luck.
Yeah. Hey.
So that sends South Carolina to face LSU.
Yep.
In the SEC championship game. And so, yeah, that game was chippy. It was chippy from the start. Cardoso and Angel Reese do not like each other.
I don't think anybody really likes Angel Reese unless you're on LSU's team.
I mean, yeah.
It's funny.
I can see that. She definitely, yeah.
LSU gives the vibe of like the villain team that's supposed to be really good that you just hate. But then they just aren't that great. They're not great. So it's like
they're good. They're very good, but
right.
They're not, yeah.
It's not like, oh my gosh, will this team lose? I'm cheering against them because they're so good and they talk shit and they back it up, you know?
Yeah. Part of the reason is because Kim Mulkey's a moron, and she tried to play Haley Van Lith at the point guard for the first half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a point guard. She's a 2.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very undersized 2. And so that was the issue at first. And then now they're playing better with her at the 2. They're playing significantly better with her at the 2. But no, I think LSU and South Carolina this year like specifically hate each other. They do not like each other at all. Earlier in the second or first quarter, I don't remember which one it was. Someone took a shot. LSU took a shot, and everyone was getting down in position to box out. The shot ends up going through, and then as Angel Reese is going up the court, she just pulls Cardoso's hair, just keeps going in stride. They don't call a foul on that. It was insane. Which, look, Angel Reese is a really good player. She gets away with so many fouls. Oh my God, she gets away with like just blatant, flagrant ones constantly. I saw her against Alabama. She just pushed a girl. She just straight up pushed a girl who was like dribbling the ball on a fast break. It's like that's a foul. How is that not? But so it was physical from the beginning, and it was physical the last time that they played, and the games were close. So there was a lot of animosity, anxiety. They were excited to play each other. And then later, LSU got a steal. South Carolina got a steal. LSU fouled them. And then LSU, while South Carolina's celebrating, LSU's player just pushes the South Carolina girl because I think she got mad because she gave up the turnover.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cardoso, who is 6'7", huge, she just comes over and just lays the girl out. And then it's a big skirmish. And Haley Van Lith was this close to getting murdered by Cardoso. It would have made my month.
Jeez.
But look, I'm just you know my feelings on Haley Van Lith. She went and played for the Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
She went to play for the Devil. She made a deal with the Devil.
Speaking of extracurriculars in basketball, Do Duke players just like to trip players?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Does Kyle Filipowski just take up after Grayson Allen? Like,
He's not a known tripper.
I mean, yeah, but like connecting the dots, they're both white players that went to Duke who tripped players. Who are well, I mean, like Filipowski, I don't think is like hated.
If you are a talented white basketball player for Duke, people just hate you for some reason.
Right, and I think like that's the. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It's not like Filipowski has done anything to be considered a dirty player. Like, the history of dirty players at Duke are obvious, but at the same time, it's like, and it was against Armando Bacot too, is who he tripped.
Who Armando Bacot's not the cleanest player in the world.
No, but yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I think it got blown a little bit out of proportion because it's
a Duke player that's tripping someone.
It's a white guy on Duke.
I mean, it's not. At least if he does it again, then he's consistent.
And there's a pattern there.
Yeah.
Before we get into our championship picks, I do want to talk about our prodigal son here in the Derby City. We promised we wouldn't talk about him. We've brought him up minimal times, but the time has finally come. We're recording this on Monday of championship week.
March 11th.
March 11th, Monday. Louisville plays on March 12th. And is it the 11th today?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I didn't think it was.
I got it right there.
I can't see that from here.
Oh.
I've got 20/20 vision with the glasses on, but I still got astigmatism in both eyes. Anyway,
wah, wah.
Look, by the time this comes out, this episode, Louisville will play their ACC tournament game,
and they're getting an automatic bid.
They're
running the table.
Here's the thing. If Louisville made the tournament,
yeah,
I think I might be furious. I think I would be.
Why? Because there's a little bit of hope.
No, because this thing is over. It is over. And
why can't it be over now? Why do we have to wait?
Delaying the inevitable.
Why are we delaying it?
There's a rumor locally that Junior Bridgman, who used to play at U of L, now he's worth like $500 million. He's gonna pay the buyout of Kenny Payne as long as he lasts the entire year. That's the one stipulation. That's why he wasn't fired after Kentucky. That's why he wasn't fired after
You can
Notre
name
Dame.
a number of games.
No, basically.
Which one would you like to pick?
Basically, what I'm saying is, by the time this episode comes out, and between this episode and the next episode that we'll be able to record, Kenny Payne will be fired. So we're just going to talk about it now because it's going to happen. Kenny Payne's he played on a national championship winning team at Louisville in the 80s. Former first-round draft pick. Been in coach, like a highly regarded name in coaching circle for like 2 decades almost. Knows everybody. Everybody knows Kenny Payne, and everybody loves Kenny Payne.
He's a great guy.
Everybody loves Kenny Payne.
How can you not like Kenny Payne?
He was the perfect guy. The perfect guy. Like, if there's anybody in the world that you could have picked and you know, sprinkled a little bit of pixie dust on him and they would have been successful as a coach at Louisville, Kenny Payne is the guy. No, Kenny Payne is the guy.
Well, the only thing that I could think of off the top of my head is he had no head coaching experience.
I'm saying, like, in a vacuum, in a perfect world. Like, if there was anyone that could have come here and succeeded, he's the one that you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everyone was cheering for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, everyone knows him. That includes announcers. If Louisville was good under Kenny Payne, it would have been, for non-Louisville fans, one of the most obnoxious things. Because every Louisville game, announcers would just been like, oh my God, Kenny Payne's such an incredible X's and O's guy. He's so amazing. He treats the players so well. That would have been every single game. But instead, now every single game has become, you got to give him more time. It's hard to win. And it's terrible. Like, he's X's and O's wise, maybe the worst coach ever at the high major level. Terrible. He is terrible. He is awful. And it's horrible. It's sad. I don't want to be that guy, but I didn't want to hire him. I didn't want to hire him in the first place.
You're being that guy.
I didn't want to hire Mac, too. Fun fact. I just didn't like their defense. That's the only reason I didn't want to hire Mac.
Gotcha.
I was pickier back then.
Beggars can't be choosers now.
No, I'm aware. But anyway, he's going to be fired. And we're going to be in coaching search talk for Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
There has been a report that came out last week of some candidates that the school is targeting. The biggest name is Scott Drew. The report was basically they've told Scott Drew the job is his if he wants it. They're just waiting on a response. There was also a mystery second candidate who the school knows they can get if Scott Drew says no. And then they also said, I don't even want to say it. It doesn't. I don't want it to be real because then I'll get my hopes up. But they said that the report said that there is a non-zero chance that Billy Donovan is in play, which is absurd, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Scott Drew was my number one guy. Now that you've mentioned Billy Donovan, now that there's a report that he is a realistic possibility, and you can debate the merits of, what it means to be realistic here, but like, now that he's in the picture, that's all I want. You kidding me? That's all I want. I dream of
Billy Donovan.
I dream of Billy D coming to town.
It is interesting though because like I feel like with NIL and everything, year in and year out, with more so the transfer portal, I feel like the NBA is quote unquote an easier job than a collegiate job.
Yeah, you just have to have a good GM, good organization.
Right. Well,
so
you still got to be able to coach, but
no,
I mean like.
So here's the thing with Billy Donovan. The only reason that I'm thinking that I'm somewhat buying into the rumors that it's not a foregone conclusion that he is never returning to college. And I think this is for other high-profile jobs as well. The reason he left Florida is because I think he liked it at Florida, but he was mad about being treated as like a second-class citizen compared to the Blue Bloods.
It's an ego thing.
And so that's why he left for Oklahoma City at the time. So it makes me think, well, I mean, Louisville's a good job. You win at Louisville, like we saw it with Rick Pitino. We were just like top 10 most years. Like I think even some years that we weren't a top 10 team, they would just put us in the top 10 of the AP poll because we're Louisville. And so there's that. Also, it makes me think like if Kentucky opens up, whenever that opens up, I think Billy Donovan is a legit candidate for that. I do believe that. I don't think Jay Wright or Brad Stevens are. I think they're done with college.
Brad Stevens is like a GM.
I know.
He's a president of basketball operations at the Boston
Yeah, I
Celtics.
know. That's why I'm saying he's not like Jay Wright, Brad Stevens are not realistic. I'm starting to think for the right job, Billy Donovan is. And the right job is not Texas. You know what I mean? Like it's not a place where you can just get a lot of money. It's got to be like a high profile, like top 10 job.
So, all I know is the athletic department needs to get this right. Otherwise, we are going to be the next Indiana.
Speaking of, I have two names for you.
Okay.
That scare me.
Why?
It feels like Archie Miller to Indiana to me. And these are two names. This is a scoop. I got a little scoop for you. These are two names that the athletic director at Louisville likes, but he is afraid that the fan base will not get behind.
Okay.
The first name played on Sunday, lost on Sunday. That is Josh Schertz for Indiana State.
Okay.
That's one of the guys that he likes. He's in his third year at Indiana State. He's done a good job rebuilding that program.
Good offensive program.
Was at Lincoln Memorial before,
Okay.
D2 school. Had some tournament success there. Never won the Division II national championship.
Mm-hmm.
But the other guy is Pat Kelsey at Charleston.
No.
Right? I do not want Pat Kelsey at all. He also used to be Chris Mack's top assistant at Xavier. I do not, whatever you do not hire Pat Kelsey. No. No, no, no. I don't want Pat Kelsey at all. I don't want Pat Kelsey. It feels like more so Pat Kelsey than Josh Schertz. It feels like Indiana hiring Archie Miller.
Well, it's one of those where it's like, I would rather go for the name that is established, like a Scott Drew won a national championship, a Billy Donovan won back-to-back national championships.
Nate Oates,
I mean,
seen as an up-and-comer.
yeah, like, go for the guy who's won it at this level, who knows what it's like under these lights. Not to say to diminish anything away from Charleston and what they have had successful this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, if I'm the AD, from a pure perspective, you are a program, historically speaking, who is able to go poach guys from other top programs because you are one of those programs. Now, if you start trying to look for the next up-and-comer, it is a very risky play that could either work out very well or very poorly. Now, Archie Miller, if that was, you saying that's not a candidate, right?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I'm saying it feels like Archie Miller at Indiana, as in, like, at that point, like, he was a hot name as far as coaches go, but at that point, you're Indiana. You're Indiana. Why are you... It felt like they were settling for Dayton's coach. Just because he's a guy that had success in the same, like, geographic area as them.
Yeah. Indiana State's season might be done.
It might be.
It might be.
That's the thing, is if it is Josh Schertz, he could be Louisville's coach soon. And that scares me.
I mean...
It scares me, not going to lie. He's better than Pat Kelsey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Significantly better. But it still scares me.
Yeah. I don't know.
I want to get who are your top 3 guys?
It's top 3?
Yeah.
Are they picking up the phone, like, realistic?
Just like who we'll say, who do you want, and then who would you go after?
Who would I want?
Yeah.
Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah.
Who do I want?
Yeah.
Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Who do I want?
Yeah, if I could get literally
I mean,
anyone, give me Dan.
I mean, like, who do I want? Yeah, probably Dan Hurley and Kelvin Sampson.
All right, now give me your more realistic guys. That you think Louisville could get, but who are also at the top of your list.
Shaka Smart.
Shaka Smart, okay. I don't hate that.
Would love Shaka Smart. I truly believe like Shaka Smart would be great. Low key, I mean, in the same breath as like those lower level guys with Charleston and stuff, I would look at like the A10. I would look at like Drew Valentine of Loyola Chicago. He's done a very good job, in my opinion. I still think they could make a run in the A10 to be something this year. If we're talking like, I mean, Nate Oates is a good offensive mind if you want to run up the score. I just have questions about his defense.
It's about Nate Oates. He has fielded really good defenses in the past.
Yeah.
At Alabama.
I mean, like, last year they were the number 1 overall seed.
And on KenPom, they were the 3rd overall defensive team. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah, they were number 3 last year in
like,
defensive efficiency. Same thing with 3 seasons ago.
I mean, like, probably for me it'd be Shaka Smart, just because he's been there time and time again. He's historically been a good coach for like the last 10 years. I mean, I know it didn't work out at Texas, but I mean, he's done well at Marquette. I also wonder with Tyler Kolek graduating if he's like one of those where it's like time to look for a move.
Kolek has another year with COVID if he wants it.
Right.
But this is his 4th year playing college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll give you. So I've got 3 names, plus a little like. If we're gonna go the Josh Schertz route, here's who I'd rather have.
Right.
Scott Drew's my number 1 guy.
Scott Drew.
Of course.
Be a good hire.
He's one of 6 national champion winning head coaches. Can you name the other 5?
For what?
Who are active head coaches that have won a national championship?
Well, Dan Hurley.
Yep.
Scott Drew.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Did Herbert Davis win one?
No, Hubert Davis made it to the championship, but did not win.
I'm trying to think. 5 active college coaches.
Yeah, 5 other than Drew.
Oh, other than Drew.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Danny Hurley got one.
Dan Hurley. Who won it last year? Baylor won it.
UConn won it last year.
Yeah, UConn won it. Baylor won it. Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett is one of them.
Gosh, why is this so hard?
Think Blue Bloods.
I know. Cal?
Yep, Cal's one of them.
Bill Self.
Bill's one of them. You got one left.
Kelvin Sampson, no. Blue Bloods. Who was our Blue Bloods? Izzo?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, those are the other guys. Anyway, back to my list.
Gosh, that was harder than it should have been.
I want him. I want Scott Drew. I know the defense has been bad the last 2 years. I really do think he just needs another. Like, if he were to take the move from Baylor to Louisville, leave one of the assistants in Waco, go out and get a guy that's known for coaching tough defense. You have to, because that's the thing. As soon as Jerome Tang left, the defense got significantly worse. And that's what made Baylor so good for all those years is the defense. And so I think you just got to get an assistant that is, in charge of the defense. And then you're right back.
Speaking of which, Kansas State had a great win over Iowa State.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic win. They still have work to do if they want to make the tournament.
Absolutely. But they do have the opportunity of being in the Big 12.
But, yeah, so that's my number 1 guy.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Number 2, I think it's Nate Oates. I would love Kelvin Sampson. I don't think he's leaving Houston.
Well, it's like, what's his name? Rick Barnes was a
Rick
Tennessee.
Barnes, Tennessee,
Yeah. No, it's like will guys leave? It's like Bruce Pearl was on the top of the list. He signed an extension with Auburn.
Yeah.
It's like Creighton's coach McDermott signed an extension. He's off the table now.
Yeah. Tommy Lloyd signed an extension. He's off. Which I'm shocked Arizona was able to give him that money because that university is having such financial issues right now.
What do you call it? They tried to keep Jed Fish.
Yeah, they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But so Nate Oates, the thing with Nate Oates, he has a $10 million buyout. If someone were to go get Nate Oates this year with the $10 million buyout, it would be the largest buyout in basketball by $6 million.
Who's for?
I can't remember the name, but I know $4 million is the highest ever. A lot of people are saying oh, Louisville can't afford that. I'm here to tell you Louisville can't afford that. Louisville can make it work if that's who they want. They can get Nate Oates. They can get Nate Oates, or Oates plural, if they want him. He's another guy that I think needs a defensive assistant because he can put together good defenses. It's just not. It's not as consistent. He's only done it twice. And the 2 times that he's done it, the defenses have been fantastic. And then my third guy, you said him, Shaka Smart. I love the style of play, both offense and defense. I love it. I love how they play. I think the 2 issues with Shaka Smart is, 1, would he leave Marquette? He's from Wisconsin. He clearly didn't enjoy Texas. Louisville's probably somewhere in the middle, culture-wise, between Marquette and Texas. Does he want to take a super high-profile job again? I don't know. The other thing is, I don't think he recruits athletes.
Who?
Shaka Smart. I think he recruits skill, which is why I don't think he was super successful at Texas, but why he's been very successful at VCU and at Marquette. Is because they have these skill players, these extremely skilled guys, but I don't think they're super athletic. And if you want to win at a high level in the ACC, You got to have athletes.
Mm-hmm.
But I love his style of play. He's also just such a great, like, high-energy coach. I don't know if you've ever seen videos of Shaka Smart at practices.
No.
Oh, my God. That guy looks like he's awesome. Like, you know, he'll coach. Like, coach from the sidelines. And then he'll just, like, jump in with the defense. And he'll just, like, start doubling a guy. And it's just, it's.
Oh, so that explains the sideline antics.
Yeah.
Where he's literally playing defense on the sideline.
No, like, it looks awesome at practice. It's super fun. But those are my top 3 guys as far as, like, big names that I would want. My one, like, if Louisville does go the Josh Schertz route and gets a guy that's not necessarily proven at a high level, I would rather have Ben McCollum.
Where's he at?
Northwest Missouri State, Division II.
Oh, this is that one guy.
Yeah. Ben McCollum won 4 out of 5 national championships in Division II. They are currently ranked 4th in the country in the Division II rankings. They have 4 losses on the year. They're fantastic. The thing is, Josh Schertz was really, really good when he was in Division II. Ben McCollum is better. Like, Josh Schertz would have, like, an Elite 8 run, and then they would miss the tournament the next year. And then he'd have lost in the national championship game, and then they lose in the first round the next year. And then they go back to the Final Four, and then they miss the tournament. Ben McCollum just does it every year.
All right. As far as I look at it, Louisville is a program that needs to go after the guy that's now.
I agree.
And so, like...
That's my, like, if you swing and miss on everybody.
I mean, if we're swinging and missing on everybody, we are no longer a blue blood. There has to be a draw and appeal to this job to make people want to come here. And I hope we're not sounding like delusional Louisville fans here thinking that we can get some of these guys. Because realistically thinking, I think we can get all these guys. For the how historic and good of a fan base and venue and everything in between, we should be able to
and the
get.
money. It's the most when the program is humming, it is the most profitable basketball program in the country. You can make more money at Louisville than anywhere when Louisville is humming.
Yeah, it's
the problem is it hasn't been like that for 4 years.
Well, when you can seat the Yum with 20,000 each game if you're winning games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Yep, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I don't think we might be a little delusional with the Billy Donovan. Who knows?
Dude, that one would be wild.
I still don't want to let myself believe that. But, all right.
Yeah, I too would love John Wooden as my next head coach, too.
Go wheel his casket out there.
Come on, coach, just like the old days.
Coach, they're breaking the zone. What now?
Bring in Kareem.
Yeah, all right. We get into our conference pick'ems.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're going to do conference tournament championship or champion picks.
Yeah, and you two will be able to decide too. We're going to have 4 options for you guys up on the community page. We're going to do the top 3 seeds and then an other.
Yeah.
So if you think it's one of the top 3 seeds or another one, feel free to comment down below in that comment section.
So first up, we got the ACC.
Truly believe it's a 2-horse race. UNC has beat Duke twice already.
Mm-hmm.
Can they do it a third time? I believe so.
I'm picking Virginia just because.
No, they're not.
I don't know why.
Virginia stinks. Virginia, if they're a tournament team, first round exit.
I don't really disagree with it there too much, but I don't know.
You're going Virginia? Don't worry.
It to me it feels like one that North Carolina or Duke are not going to win. I don't know why. It just does. I just get that feeling.
You know how obvious a pick is, and you just don't do it because it seems too obvious? I think that's what you're doing right now.
No. All right, SEC.
This one's a tough one. I truly believe, though, it's down to Tennessee and Kentucky, though.
I think there's some other teams that can win it. It depends.
I don't know. I've kind of fallen off the Auburn train just because they just don't win big games. They just don't.
No.
And then like Alabama gives up way too much defensively, so it's one of those where it's like, and then like you got like I guess Florida you can mention or South Carolina, but
I mean, the thing is, though, Florida gives up too much defensively.
right. So
South Carolina doesn't score enough.
The real question is, can Tennessee's defense hold off Kentucky's offense, or can Kentucky's defense continue to show up? I think Kentucky's a hot team. I'm going to go with Kentucky.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee, just because I don't know. They lost the last one against Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like they'll win the next one. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's my rationale behind that. Big 12.
Yep.
The new kids on the block in Houston won it from the regular season.
Absolutely.
Which I think the Big 12 commissioner is probably not too happy about.
Well, I don't know. You invited a program that you wanted to be the best basketball conference, and you got one of the best teams, and the best team won.
Yeah, but now it feels like it's a little bit like, oh, maybe Kansas isn't as good as we thought. Maybe just the Big 12 has been worse than we thought.
No, I don't think so. All right,
That
who'd you
being
pick?
said, I'm picking Houston.
Really? I'm going with Iowa State. Iowa State, so every single team around this time of the year stumbles somewhere, whether it's in the tournament or whether it's before the tournament. I think they had their stumble in Kansas State. They realize the mistakes they made, and they're going to have a learning experience from it. Plus, I also think Houston struggles against very good defensive teams, and Iowa State is one of those teams. They really got to figure out what they're doing on defense to make it happen, and I think if they meet Iowa State again, Iowa State could get the job done.
I like Houston. I just think they're one of the 3 teams in the country that are just better than everyone else.
I agree with that.
So
I just think it comes down to matchups at a certain point. All right, Big Ten, Purdue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on. I will say though, the only thing I'll say about this potential first couple matchups for Purdue are Ohio State, who just beat them, and then after that they could potentially play Northwestern, who has really good guard play.
Are they healthy though?
I don't know if Northwestern is healthy right now.
Because they just played Michigan State, and did they win or lose? I forgot.
They lost to Michigan State, but they won their last game of the year.
Here, I'm pulling it up. It looks like they got one injury. They got Ty Berry is still injured, their senior guard. But Boo Buie
is playing every minute at point guard.
Yes, he is, along with Brooke Barnes hire. Yeah, he really keeps some guys on the floor. But yeah, it would be interesting to see the Big Ten tournament, but I don't think there'll be any surprises when it comes to what will happen. Also, I think like Nebraska's like the 3 seed or something crazy like that. Yeah, Nebraska's the 3 seed.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's not a very good Big Ten this year.
Nope. All right, Pac-12.
Pac-12.
I got my pick.
You go. You do yours first.
I'm going USC. I'm being serious.
I know
too.
you are.
I'm being serious too. I think they're getting hot at the right time. They just beat Arizona. They looked very convincing in that win against Arizona too.
Look, here's what I'll give you. All year long, they have been a very talented team.
Yes.
And I've just been baffled. How are they not better? How are they not better? They have so much talent on that team. Andy Enfield is a good coach.
Let me tell you, they're starting to figure it out. And I think they might have just figured it out at the right time to make it the tournament.
We'll see. That would be crazy.
That'd
be very bad if you're an Indiana State fan.
Yeah, but I mean, like, USC. Don't be surprised. I think watch the next game. I don't know who they play, but or when they play, but let's see. They play Washington on Wednesday. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, they'll beat Washington.
Which Washington just beat Washington State. So, yeah, Washington.
A little while ago. It was
last
weeks
game. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this week. Away, too. They won at Washington State.
I missed that one, actually.
Yeah, so Washington State has stumbled, too.
Oh, no, I did miss that one because that was on Thursday.
Yeah.
They didn't play this weekend. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But USC.
See, that's the thing is, it feels like Arizona's the only team.
I agree.
I think Colorado's solid. They can't even sniff Arizona. I don't know. Like every time that they played, they've just been blown out.
Blown out. Yeah. Well, to be fair, one of the times they played, they didn't have Cody Williams.
Yeah. And then Washington State. I don't think they're gonna beat Arizona a third time. I'm just gonna go with Arizona. Like I just don't think the Pac-12 is any good this year, really.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you on that.
Well, yeah.
UCLA down year, USC down year.
All right, here's a fun one.
Oh, it is.
We've got the Mountain West.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, who you got? Who you got in the Mountain West?
I'm going Nevada.
I hate you.
Why?
That's my pick too.
They're playing very good right
I know.
now.
You know who their coach is?
Nope.
Steve Alford.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nevada's won 7 straight. They're hot at the right time. Their last loss was to New Mexico by 1.
Yeah.
Other than that,
UNLV is let me think. I think they are 10-2 in their last 12. Their only 2 losses are Nevada. Nevada's playing very well right now. And they're a team that just hasn't gotten any respect all year long.
yeah, and
Even Utah State has gotten more respect than Nevada, which is crazy because Utah State, I think, has been disrespected for most of the year.
yeah, Nevada's a good team. I'm really high on them right now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's kind of shocking. We have the same pick, but
Well, I don't think so because I think that's the right pick. As of right now, the way it's been playing out, it's Nevada.
yeah, all right. Well, we are on the same page there.
Yeah, we got the A10.
A10, number 8 conference in the country according to Kim Pom. I've got Richmond.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've thought Richmond was going to win this conference for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dayton fell off a little bit, but then Loyola started getting it going. I'm just going to stick with Richmond. You know, I like Richmond this year. They're solid.
Yeah.
This is a competitive conference, though. This is
It
going to be
is.
fun.
Massachusetts is last year in the conference as well.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out football. I'm gonna stick with Drew Valentine and go Loyola Chicago. I think it'd be fun to see them in the tournament.
Man, Dayton was the Flyers were flying high at one point this year.
They sure were. They were all the way up to like a 5 or a 4 seed at one point.
You think if they don't win this tournament, you think they make it as an at-large?
It depends on when they lose.
All right.
They lose in the final, I think they can get in. I think the 18 can be a 2.
All right. Next up, we've got the Big East. I'm going to go with
I think it's 2 teams right now.
Creighton and UConn. Yeah. I don't know if Tyler Kolek's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
And I can't trust Marquette if he's not healthy.
Right. Creighton put a beat down on UConn at Creighton. I'm going to stick with UConn for now. I think UConn's just...
I'm going with UConn too. The reason is because Creighton beat UConn by 20 the last time. Danny Hurley is crazy. That man's insane. The right type of crazy to coach a blue blood. And I think he'll get it done. I think he would just be maniacal for when they play Creighton. What do you think the odds are St. John's wins?
Honestly, I think they're like the 4 seed.
They're the 5 seed.
Are they?
Yep. They play Seton Hall first game.
I think they could beat Seton Hall.
I think they can too.
They can beat Seton Hall, and then they get UConn. So, I mean, if they can get past UConn, I think they could beat anybody, but that's a big if.
All right, West Coast Conference. It's already gotten underway a little bit.
Sort of. The way they do their conference is the semifinals
It's just bye after bye after bye.
It's, I believe now, I think it's we're down to Santa Clara, St. Mary's, Gonzaga, and who else is the last one?
San Francisco?
Yes, San Francisco. Santa Clara, play St. Mary's tonight. Actually, it's tonight for the semifinals. So we should have a final by the time we're picking this. I'm going to go Gonzaga.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think Gonzaga, they actually, we'll get into this more next week. You might argue with me when we turn these cameras off. They have the metrics to win the national championship. I'll leave it at that. Next up and last up, we have the American.
Right. Is it FAU's to lose, or is Southern Florida going to continue to chug along after a horrible start to this year, which is what making their metrics so low because they have quad 4 losses?
I don't think you can say that it's FAU's to lose. I don't think this is anyone's to lose necessarily. I'm going with FAU. I think they're going to win. I think it ultimately. Here's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be USF and FAU in the in the conference championship. Not that they're not going to play in the national championship.
That would wild.
Trust me, that would get 0 views.
I don't know.
The ratings on that would be terrible.
No, it wouldn't, because good basketball is good basketball.
No. The Final Four last year, terrible ratings.
Yeah, and it was great basketball to watch. So
Yeah, but it got terrible ratings.
Yeah,
it's because UConn was the only blue blood in there.
Are you saying
and they weren't a blue blood until they won it? That's how I view it personally. But I'm just saying, if that were the national championship, it would get such terrible.
I'm going to go with FAU. I think there's like 2 other teams that could win this in South Florida and Charlotte.
I think Memphis could win it.
No,
I think honestly, I think the top 6 teams could win it. I do. And I think Tulsa and Tulane could really make a team mad by getting an upset. Mm-hmm. I don't think they can win it, but I think they could make someone mad.
Right.
So yeah, those are our picks. And
sure are.
Next week, this time,
we'll know
what the tournament is.
Absolutely.
It will be
a fun time. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you then.